Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Shey, and I'm here today to talk about, let's just say, interference and what that means. So, a lot of us on the spiritual path don't understand that we can have interference in our field. You wake up, maybe you're starting to see things, get thoughts, feelings, emotions, things of that nature that aren't necessarily yours. And that would be interference. It's actually not coming from you. It could be coming from the collective, it could be coming from, let's just say, your neighbor, it could be coming just from your energetic field. So with interference, I'd like to say this. It's not easy because you're, let's just say, opening up. So the more you open up, the more interference you possibly can get until you start, let's just say, stepping into your power more and learning how do I, let's just say, defend off or clear up this interference. So a lot of us can get, let's just say, interference from other beings, let's just say other beings are just hanging around and they want to talk to you, or they're in your field, or they're sending thoughts or feelings or emotions to you that aren't even yours. So this was what I would say about that type of interference. I know I've made another video about this, but it's very, very important that people understand this as they're awakening. So with that, I would call on Archangel Michael. He is actually a protector. So, just call on Archangel Michael and ask him to remove any uninvited energies or entities and return him back to God's source light for healing for the highest good of all. Thank you. So that's what I do when I go and I am clearing, let's just say, interference like that around me. Or you can, let's just say, when you go to meditate, just say, only the highest levels of 100% divine love aspect can be in my field. Everyone else, please leave. And that way it clears out your field as well for these other dimensional beings. So, also, interference can be, let's just see, like your nervous system, you're healing trauma and it's just purging out of your nervous system. So that type of interference is interference in the way that it is still, let's just say, beliefs you're having, when the information is coming through from your higher self in that need to be cleared, because these beliefs are interfering with the way you're projecting the world, if that makes sense. So the more you can clear out belief patterns that don't resonate with you, with your soul, that aren't from you. You could have, everything actually you inherited. So you inherited it from either, somebody here on this plane, you brought it in from a lifetime, past lifetime, and things of that nature. So you either inherited it, or it's, let's just say, programmed in when you come in. Because a lot of us come in, we come in programmed with different things. We can have imprints of different lives too. An example of this would be like Jesus. A lot of us wanted to see what it felt like to be Jesus. And so that is an imprint we carry around. And so when people spiritually awakening, on the awakening path, and they awaken, a lot of people think, oh, I'm Jesus all of a sudden. And that's not necessarily the case per se. It is, because we're all one, but no. So it doesn't mean that you were Jesus or you spent a lifetime as Jesus. It could be just you just wanted that imprint. You wanted to see what it felt like to be Jesus, so you imprinted that upon you before you came in. So anyway, you can have all sorts of things, imprints and things going on. But as far as interference, there can be things, let's just say, from dark forces as well. Let's just say, beings that don't necessarily want you to shine your light. And so they're trying to quash it. So they will, let's just say, throw interference at you and things of that nature. And so these are things that actually I can get rid of. And if I can't get rid of, I know somebody else who helps with that as well. But I went through all of this stuff. So this is the reason why I know. Also, there's interference, let's say, like from implants. Implants, they can track you. They can, let's just say, send frequencies through you. They can do different things like that. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. We're all divinely protected. We're all spirits having a human experience. It's just some of us wanted to, let's just say, have a really, really interesting human experience, if you put it lightly, challenging, basically, which is what I did when I awoken. So, I'm not saying everybody has this going on, but you could, and you could have, just beings in the astral messing with you too sometimes, if you're not completely embodied in your body. And this is another thing. So the more you heal, the more your higher self can embody you. So a lot of us hold a lot of trauma within our bodies, and we don't feel like it's safe to even be here on earth or in our bodies. So we're not in our bodies, and we're just floating around. We escape our bodies, or we disassociate and things of that nature. So the only way to get fully back into your body is to heal your body. Release the traumas either from this lifetime, other lifetimes. There's so many different kinds of traumas you can hold within the body. And this is what I work with people on, and how to release them. And I teach people how they can release them on their own, or send them to other workshops, or, people I know who do trainings and things that can help them on their own path, because I don't want necessarily people to rely on me. I don't mind helping people, until they feel comfortable, but, I want to teach people, basically is what I'm saying, how to rely on themselves and step fully into their own soul sovereignty and heal themselves, because a healer actually just holds the space for the healing. And if you meet that frequency and you want that healing, then it's healing, and this is another thing people don't understand about healing. Sometimes it takes time. So like when I do Akashic clearings, and I bring up all the different things that need to be cleared and healed, your team's not going to just all of a sudden just heal all of them at once. You would just blow up, basically, because, there's so much stuff going on a lot of times within our bodies, I mean, like, so they do it slowly, but it can make you initially just a little sick. Everybody's different depending on how much they have to release and stuff, but your team can work with you and release things slower. If you want it done really quick, you can say, I'm off for 2 weeks, just rip it off like a Band-Aid, and they will. You might feel like you have the flu and you're extremely tired, and things of that nature. So it just depends. But I would say if you wanted a Akashic clearing, at least give 2 or 3 days where maybe you're off work or something, or it's a weekend. So that way, in case something does, purge out, let's just say ascension symptoms, they call them, but it's energetic release that's really fast, really is what it is. And with that can become, like fatigue, and sometimes people can get, diarrhea and things of that nature because they're just releasing a lot all at once. So anyway, these are all different types of, let's just say, interference. However, I mean, there are, let's just say those are the main ones, but there are other things that can go on. You can have, let's just say, interference from, let's just say, parallel realities bleeding through. Like this is the aspect of you. This is your oversoul. Within your oversoul, you could have 333 of these aspects like me. And then sometimes you have to purge for these other aspects too, because you're all one. I spent, I think, over 5 years, like during the daytime, purging for a lifetime where I was captured in the Laren Wars. So, and this was another aspect. So, but it was the lower aspect what I was in was able to purge it. So it had to filter down to my level in order to purge it at a more dense level, if that makes sense. So yeah, I spent 5 years doing that. And, and other aspects within my oversoul were doing it too. And also, I do still do some of it at night, but a lot of times we purge things at night as well. So your team helps you with stuff then, and if there's something you want to experience that, let's just say you don't want to experience on this realm, like getting a divorce or having a child die or something, but you want to have that experience on a soul level, sometimes you have that in your dreams, just so you know. I remember waking up one morning having a dream that my son hung himself, and I walked into this cabin and he had hung himself. And I didn't know what that was from at the time, but it terrified the crap out of me. I mean, I had to feel it and everything, and it was just horrible, but my soul wanted to feel that. It wasn't necessarily another parallel reality I was experiencing, which means other aspects of me and decisions I made that split off. It was just, something I wanted to experience. So yeah, didn't feel good. So anyway, some of you might wake up with dreams at night or nightmares. Sometimes you're purging things and sometimes it's experiences you want to experience. So anyway, that's probably a video for another time about dreams. But anyway, that's the message I have today about interference. If you have stuff going on or you have stuff you need to heal to reduce that so you can connect to your higher self more easily, then I am always here. Please like and share this video so that way you can get out to other people so they can understand what's going on with them as they awaken as well. And I really appreciate everybody being here. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. And I look forward to connecting with you on our next video. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.